This book that you've written, which is like a map to the mind. You went to study the mind.
Well, because nothing's more interesting.
Nothing is more interesting. As you've just said, it is the mothership from which everything else springs. So you took yourself off after doing these shows, or while still doing these shows.
I still do the shows.
Took yourself off to Oxford.
Took myself off, just packed my bags.
Well, more or less, you packed your bags and you went off and you came up with a degree and then you decided to write the book. That's an amazing thing to do. I mean, why? I mean, why put yourself through writing a whole book, Ruby?
5 years ago, I would not have expected this. Everything in my life is a surprise, because I was, really it is. It's it's like a pinball machine that just clangs, and sometimes I clang on the right area, and other times I fall through the hole, and then I just clang again. That's in my gene pool, because we have the drive of a Rottweiler. That's the good news. The bad news is we're mentally ill. So after I got bored with my career because you run out of material, and I started to become a cliche, and I thought this can't go on because in 20 more years, when you're grabbing onto what you were in the past, it becomes a tragedy, and then you end up in panto, and really that's the end. Sorry.
Ruby Twanky. Yeah, you won't be
That is the end.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's one step lower. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
That's not what you were doing in Australia, is it? I take it. She's just been to Australia twice.
I was doing, because I launched the book in Australia
it's okay.
last
I'm
week.
Teasing you. It's all right. You weren't really
I wasn't eating cockroaches, thanks for asking, Rosie. So I thought, okay, I have to reinvent, because we're supposed to be dead by 30, so we have to keep these chapters because we go on and on and on. And some people stop at different chapters, and we know who they are, those women who still talk about their childbirth and the kid is already 45. You don't want your brain to atrophy because, that is the way to...
Yours never will, don't worry.
It is like a muscle. You have to keep moving it. You can't do one sit-up and have a six-pack. So I thought, let's keep this one going. So I crashed UCL because I wanted to learn about neuroscience, like the real thing. And they were all 21 years old. And I told them, it's in my book, I told them that I had a skin disease that made me look old.
Did anyone believe you?
I swear to God. Well, they were foreign students, right? So
that's possibly a bit rude.
And they wouldn't know who I was. So then I became popular because I had a car, but then they all went off to Yale because that was part of the deal, and I didn't. So I thought, okay, I really have to not only learn how this works, but how to regulate it, because I had read about this stuff. And I had really researched it. That's why I went into the next phase, is that if you have depression, that's what I was interested in, and you have more than 3 episodes, the 2 things that can prevent relapse, potentially, not always, but 67% higher than anything else, is cognitive therapy and mindfulness. Put drugs aside, because I need those badly. But if drugs prevented relapse, we wouldn't all have relapses. They would work and that's it. So I thought, okay, mindfulness is interesting because I don't have to pay a shrink constantly, because it's learning to self-regulate. So I went straight to Mark Williams, who was one of the founders of MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and he gave me the 8-week course, God bless him. He knew I was in big trouble because I had to drive to Oxford and I had, several car crashes on the way. So he kindly taught me at the 8-week course, and I thought, this is remarkable. So I said, I really want to go on studying this. And he said, well, unfortunately, you'd have to get into Oxford. So again, the Rottweiler spirit raised its head, and I found some grades that were presentable and Tipexed out the other ones. And then I give really great interview. So,
would you have her?
I could bluff that one. And so I got into Oxford. And there were 14 other people in my class who were doctors. And so they looked at me like I was a third kind. But I was in, so.
That's cool.